What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back here in another video, and today, welcome to pretty much my last mock draft for 2021. We're going to do a quick little predictive one on the day of, but this is going to be the one where we relax, we think about what we should do, and maybe not what will happen. So I hope you guys do enjoy this. If you guys are new, like, comment, subscribe, you know what to do. And we're going to be pumping out 2022 content very, very soon. As soon as the draft ends, we're possibly going to be dropping a way too early 2022 mock. So stay tuned for that, because that's the draft where a lot of the guys I went to high school with are actually going to be coming out. You talk about Matt Corral. Zach Charbonnet probably is going to be staying an extra year at UCLA. Kayvon Thibodeau. Guys who went to my high school. Even think about Michael Pittman Jr., which it's not Michael Pittman Jr., it's Micah Pittman, excuse me. But also Michael Pittman Jr. came out. But that's going to be really fun. And I hope you guys are excited for that, because I am ecstatic. Obviously, it's going to be the standard. We're going to do 3 rounds on this one just because it'll get us up to Wednesday, and then we'll have our predictive on Thursday. So please do enjoy, because let's have some fun. Number 1, Trevor Lawrence. This is an easy pick. He's already giving to Jacksonville charities. They're already sending him wedding gifts. It's a match made in heaven. He's an excellent, excellent quarterback. And this is just, the Jags lucked out. I'm pretty sure the Jets they screwed up the chance to get Trevor Lawrence, which is hilarious. But I'm much happier with Trevor Lawrence screaming Duval rather than him going to gangrene. This one's obviously Zach Wilson. We already know these top 2 picks. That's just because, again, the Eagles would have traded up to 3 if they actually thought Zach Wilson was going to be there. And to be 100% fair, we already know the Eagles were actually doing that because they were already talking with the Dolphins. They did a trade after the fact. So with that being said, that's pretty much guaranteed. This spot we need to talk about really quick. You already know I'm going to go into some talk about this, but the rumor right now is that it's Mac Jones, Trey Lance, right? That's the word on the street. That's what everybody's saying. It's funny how everybody was saying that it's a guaranteed Mac Jones, but now it's a guaranteed Trey Lance or Mac Jones. But let me ask you this. When did we know anything about what the Niners were doing this offseason? I didn't think they were going to bring back Trent Williams for a 6-year, $138 mil contract. Didn't think that they could do that, especially with Fred Warner coming up on a big contract extension. Jimmy G rumors, that was coming about. They put that to bed. It just came out. They're like, nope, Jimmy G's going to be here. He's going to be here for a year. So that's probably the most trustworthy. They were completely honest in that interview. That was the funny thing, because they've been very secretive the entire time, and then they came out and were completely honest with what they were doing. So why do we believe that what the media, what everybody else knows, is correct? So Mac Jones going to this team, sure. This is something that I thought about. It's Mac Jones may win a Super Bowl with the Niners, but he won't win a Super Bowl for San Francisco, for the Niners. He will be there and he will be carried by the rest of the team, but he won't elevate the team to where they are actually better than what they are, and that's why they win a Super Bowl. Look at Patrick Mahomes. The dude was literally sideways. He was parallel to the freaking ground, threw like a 40-yard pass and just hit the guy's hands and dropped. He is somebody who can make the most out of nothing. I'm not going to get into another Mac Jones rant, but it's not the pick. It can't be. You don't trade your entire future away for the present, okay? If you did that, you would have traded for Kirk Cousins, for Christ's sakes. What, you want some extra cap flexibility? You don't trade 2 first-round picks in a swap in order to get that. You don't do that. If you really wanted to do that, maybe you can talk to Jimmy G, restructure his contract, or wait for a guy like Kyle Trask, who's a little bit more stable. Or you can look at a guy like Davis Mills later on, who's more stable. If you really want to have a guy sit and actually be able to learn and be a more stable quarterback that can not elevate a roster, that's where you go. You don't trade your entire future for this. And I think that that's what people are going berserk about. And a lot of people who are very respected in this industry, Matt Miller, Todd McShay, Mel Kiper, they have a man named Justin Fields as their number 2 quarterback. I think that he has the highest ceiling. I think they do as well. Trey Lance is a whiteboard. So if the rumors are true, it's between those two, and Greeny in his little bone situation with Trey Lance actually works out, cool. I'm fine with it, because this is the best case scenario. He gets to sit behind a good quarterback for a year, which he needs to do, and he's able to learn from Kyle Shanahan. That is wonderful. But I think Justin Fields is just as wonderful, if not better. People think that Justin Fields can win an MVP. So can I. I think that Justin Fields is going to be the pick at the end of the day. We've never known anything about what the Niners are doing. They keep their lips shut, and that's exactly what's going to happen. That I don't understand why people think that all of a sudden, because the Niners are like being rumored as something, means that all the other rumors before, we could just throw those away. Those ones are so wrong, we could just throw them away. As soon as Trey Lance comes into the equation, oh, the rumors are true. The rumors are so true with Mac Jones too. Okay, just get out of your gutter. This pick, I contemplated this idea. So I contemplated, what if the Dolphins traded up to 4? Think about this, because apparently there's a lot of rumors around Julio being traded. There's been a restructure on his contract, so the Falcons wouldn't actually gain any cap this year. They'd take on a pretty heavy dead cap. But in the future, because they're dealing with some cap casualties apparently, if they're able to trade Julio for a late first, maybe they'd send a next year third. And let's talk about maybe to the Ravens, who are looking for somebody. Then they could trade back with the Dolphins. Let's just say for maybe an extra first and maybe a next year fourth. So the Dolphins really didn't net too much out of their trade with the Niners, but they still get the guy that they'd want at number 4. They get Kyle Pitts. And then at number 6, most likely, the Falcons get Jamar Chase. So they replace Julio with Jamar Chase, and they get 2 firsts and a fourth. It's just an idea. I'm not going to do that right now, though. I was planning on doing it just for fun, but I don't think the Dolphins are going to be really willing to lose all the picks that they just acquired. So I worked out the trade beforehand. It was going to be 2 1s and then a next year 4. But that was a tricky one. That was one where TDN would deny it half of the time. So Kyle Pitts is going to be the pick. You just have to take the one of one. Julio Jones was considered to be generational, and he was. Injuries have, like, mid-game injuries. I know he's played over 13 games, at least all but 2 seasons, 13 or more games. But he was like almost a one of one prospect. Kyle Pitts is a one of one prospect. I don't care if Hayden Hurst is there. You can use Kyle Pitts in the slot if you want. I don't think Russell Gage is really worth denying a one of one generational talent. People have never seen Kyle Pitts, ever. And you're getting him at 4? I understand that there's a lot more issues, and you're probably going to be screwed on a quarterback later on. Like a Trey Lance, he's still there. But you're going to be, you have Matt Ryan for 2 years. I love this thing by Colin Cowherd. I believe he was the one who said this. Imagine if they draft Trey Lance, and like Falcons fashion, they lose the first 3 games. That's a lot of dead cap, or a lot of money to be throwing away to try to start Trey Lance. And the entire Atlanta community, they're going to be prying for it. They're going to be like, give us Trey Lance, especially if he looks good during the preseason. This is something that you guys need to consider. Like, I thought that was a brilliant point, and that's too much money to potentially sacrifice because fans want to see Trey Lance. I totally agree with that. And that the asking price is way too much right now. Excuse me on that. The asking price is just way too much. So given that, I don't think they're going to trade out of that spot. Especially, again, when you have a one of one talent, you just do not give it up. So Kyle Pitts, the right pick there. At this spot, I hear so many rumors about Jamar Chase. It's just, I can't imagine Joe Burrow wanting Jamar Chase, who is his buddy, excellent wide receiver, almost generational, really elite wide receiver, over actually protection. I can't understand that. I'm very curious as to whether, again, this is another smokescreen by Joe Burrow to see, again, there's Julio rumors, if the Falcons select Jamar Chase at 4 to allow Pitts maybe to fall to 5. It's a really weird idea, but I'm never going to take a wide receiver, tight end over an offensive tackle when you need it. And since Reef is there, he already said he could play guard, but I think Penei Sewell should start at guard just to learn the intricacies of the NFL. He does have balance issues and stuff. So this would allow him to work on his footwork and everything like that with Riley Reef, but have a day one impact at guard and replace Michael Jordan. I think it's a foolproof plan. I think it solves 2 needs at once, and then you can get maybe a guard later on as well. I think it's foolproof. You can't deny it. It's the right move. So number 6, we got the Dolphins. And personally, I would think about trading out of this spot. but you don't trade up to get out of the spot. They knew they'd get one of these three guys, and you're going to get him. Jamar Chase is an excellent wide receiver. Again, Devontae Parker has taken a long time to become into like a number one wide receiver. And to be honest, he's more of a number two. Jamar is an elite number one wide receiver. Number 6, many years ago, we saw the Falcons move up to take Julio Jones. Jamar Chase is like a lesser version of that. And that's dangerous. PFF said he was like Julian Blackman or something like that, or Justin Blackman. That was a little disrespectful, but Blackman did have a lot of talent. I'm going Jamar Chase here. You guys already know the drill. These first like 6 picks are almost guaranteed in a certain way, especially if the Falcons keep asking for that big money. Because again, if the Falcons trade out, you're losing on one-of-one talents, and you're going to be at like what? Let's just say pick 9, pick 15. I mean, I don't think the Patriots would give Niners some to move up to 4. But even if the Broncos moved up, they offered maybe 2 firsts, like swap a first and then an extra first, and maybe like a 3rd-round pick. You're missing out on all the high-end talent, and you're going to go after like what, Micah Parsons? You already pretty much have pretty much what you need at linebacker besides maybe an edge rusher. And I'm just not really a fan of trading out to get Micah Parsons, who we don't know personality-wise if he'll translate to the NFL. You get the one-on-one talent. So, number 7, this is where things get fun. Trey Lance is still on the board. But I said this in my Orlando post-Orlando Brown mock draft. There is a team right here, the Carolina Panthers, and they are the biggest cock block at a nice trade. And I'll tell you why. So, let's just say we trade with the Broncos, the Patriots, whatever, and they select Trey Lance. Let's just say the Broncos, because you move back, you're probably going to still select the same guy, right? Personally, I don't think they go Rashawn Slater. They had an elite weapon in the slot named Curtis Samuel. He had a boom year under Brady. So, all of a sudden, you have a big vacancy on an offense where people say, oh, Sam Darnold didn't have enough. Jalen Waddle's right there, and he's an elite weapon. Can you imagine? There would be no excuses for this offense not working. Christian McCaffrey, Jalen Waddle, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore. That would be, honestly, one of the most elite offenses in the league. They were one of the most elite offenses pound for pound last year. So, with that being said, if you move back to 9, Trey Lance is taken, Jalen Waddle's taken. What the fuck are you going to take? You know what? You're going to take Rashawn Slater? You could definitely do that. You could definitely take the tackle there. But I don't know if he's going to be a tackle. That is my reserve. I don't know. Everybody said he was going to be a guard or a center. All of a sudden, his measurements come out. He's like 33-inch arms. Oh, he's going to be a tackle. It doesn't matter what his measurements are. Unless they're terrible, like you look at Brady Christensen, 32.25 arms. Like, he already played without length. Now you know he can't even play without length. Rashawn Slater has potential to play with length, and he played very well. But he didn't play consistently with length. That's my issue. That's why I don't want him to tackle. That's why I think he'd be great on the Giants as a guard. I think he could be Hall of Fame potential as a guard. So we're taking Jalen Waddle here. We're taking him. And that means that we are going to be trading up with either the Patriots or the Broncos for Trey Lance. And the question is, what do we want to do with Carolina? So if the Patriots move up and they select Trey Lance, then if we are Carolina, are we going to be able to get Micah Parsons then? Because at number 9, I could see the Broncos trying to snag him up. That could be an easy move. But they also need a quarterback, so they could go Mac Jones as well. And then you could see Micah Parsons falling all the way to probably 14, where we'd probably trade back up. So there's that chance. The question is are the Broncos going to be going one player away from winning a Super Bowl? Because again, Mac Jones can go to a Super Bowl with a team like the Broncos that are almost fully built. They can bring Mac Jones to the Super Bowl, and he could lead them to the Super Bowl. Not elevate them, but maybe command them to the Super Bowl. But Micah Parsons there too. So it's a weird one, because we could also see Trey Lance moving up here, and then you could select Micah Parsons here, and then you could see the Patriots going Mac Jones, trying to move up a little bit later on. I honestly think that wouldn't be a bad idea. So you know what? The Panthers, they're going to it's a tough one. They're going to get their guy. They're going to get Micah Parsons, but the Broncos are just going to be smooching on up to get their guy. So I think that's a big plus. We're gonna see maybe we could send in we can send in a 3 because they're probably gonna want somebody, and then we could probably swap a maybe a 4 or a 5. I think that's perfectly fine. You can get an extra 3 for the Panthers because again, you guys do need some corners, but you guys there's this cornerback class is pretty heavy in depth. You can get like a Robert Rochelle in the 4th, and then you guys will be good, very good. So by this trade, the Panthers could be getting another player, maybe a lineman in the 3rd. You could look at a Spencer Brown potentially, a James Hudson, and then basically you're giving up very little capital to move up and select a potential franchise quarterback in Trey Lance. I love him on the Patriots, but I just didn't feel it this time. I literally mocked out a trade earlier and then saw how it would fall out. It didn't seem very realistic. This is pretty fair because you gain a 3rd and lose a 4th. You lose barely anything. And then you could still technically select Rashawn Slater. But I'm going to select the high ceiling guy in Micah Parsons. And you got like Shaq Thompson there. Obviously, you got Jeremy Chin. Micah Parsons, again, if I'm going to be working with Matt Rule, you take the guys with the best capabilities. I have him as my number 7 guy in the draft because he's a number 3 talent to me. And then I doubled it and maybe added 1 just to because I did believe Jamar Chase was a little bit better with the personality issues concerned. This is just, it's so good. It's your Luke Kuechly replacement, man. Get Jeremy Chin to be an amazing box safety, Micah Parsons there, Shaq Thompson, and also resets the clock, financial clock, in case you don't want to re-sign a certain dude. So I like it. You're giving a bunch of options on defense. There are other slot options in this draft, but none of them nearly as good as Jalen Waddle, and nothing worth this pick. Micah Parsons definitely is. At this spot, I go Patrick Surtain 10 out of 10 times. I'm going to project that he ends up playing at a higher speed. And I think that in a 4-3 cover 3 scheme of Dan Quinn, this will be mitigated, and that's going to be great. So I think that Patrick Surtain fits perfectly. It's not something I really thought about until they brought in Dan Quinn, but I think he fits better than J.C. Horn, who would fit better in a heavier man scheme. And at this pick with the Giants, you guys already know where I'm rocking. We got Rashawn Slater on the board. We take Rashawn Slater. This pick, though, this could be interesting because I potentially would even want to trade back if I were the Eagles. Because again, you got Devontae Smith, J.C. Horn here. Those are the 2 obvious picks. And look, people want to say Devontae Smith. I'm just going to ask you Eagles fans this. Has your wide receiver core really ever been healthy? No. So why would you get a guy who plays 160 pounds, who has potential durability concerns for the future? Just doesn't line up for me. So again, I just don't really understand where you guys are coming from on that, especially as people who suffer every year watching the Eagles wide receivers get injured. Why take somebody who has an obvious negative on his sheet with this? Because I could see us trading back and getting like Mac Jones, getting Mac Jones to be taken at this spot by the Patriots, but J.C. Horn could go to right here, or he could even go right here. So with that being said, we have to go the corner here. I know you guys don't like it, but it is going to be the pick. And again, this is kind of like a boring draft because it's not very different from the ones I do. But again, this is like one of my final mock drafts. So this is something I really want to get the ideas, the understanding down perfectly. And at this pick, again, you have to look at what would happen in the next picks. If the Chargers were to trade with the Patriots, Christian Darsaw is a very lucrative option for the Vikings. Because again, they lost Riley Reif. That's a perfect left tackle to fit in there. They got Ezra Cleveland, but I don't think they drafted a right tackle to move to left. Just my thought. So I think we're stuck at one decision here. Because again, if we move back to 15, you're pretty much getting Caleb Farley as a guarantee. We're getting Christian Darsaw. Again, we're seeing Mac Jones fall here, but that's perfectly fine. At this spot, you still got Devontae Smith on the board. You still got Mac Jones on the board. So the Bears and the Patriots are going to be hammering for this. The Bears are going to be like, dude, I mean, if we get Mac Jones out of the top 10, that's going to be great, right? But none of these teams could move back. None of these teams could afford to move back. But the Vikings, they could move back. The question is how much. So when you think about it, what's their biggest need? Their biggest needs are corner and a 4-3 defensive end. Because, I mean, obviously you saw what happened last year. Danielle Hunter also is trying to opt out. I mean, not try to opt out, try to sit out, trying to get a better contract extension, which they are not giving him. So with that being said, I think Kwity Paye is the best 4-3 defensive end, factoring in long-term wait, what I'm trying to think of the word, like longevity? No. Long-term value. There you go. So if that is the case, Kwity Paye would be my guy. Jalen Phillips is the best talent. If I were trying to win a Super Bowl this year, 100%. The Vikings ain't going to win a Super Bowl anytime soon. I'm sorry. You need to fix a lot of pieces on that team and then just probably reset the clock on the quarterback, and then you're good, right? Obviously, your cornerback core is now destroyed with, like, I believe Jeff Gladney being arrested. So that's another big hole. Obviously, Patrick Pearson's a big plus there, but he probably wanted to come in with Jeff Gladney being there beside him. So at this spot, it's like, okay, if I move back, we're seeing, like, we move back to 20, I could see a team right here try to get Kwity Paye. You can even see potentially the Cardinals. I'm not going to see that happening. But right here, this to me, I already know it's going to be Kwity Paye. You know why? Because, again, I would potentially look at Azeez Ojulari as a pick right there. But Kwity Paye is going to be a perfect replacement for Carl Lawson. Is it Carl Lawson or Shaq Lawson? The Lawson guy who's there is Shaq Lawson. So if Shaq Lawson is replaced with Kwity Paye, then you're pretty much stuck with Jalen Phillips. And that's not a bad thing, besides the fact that, again, I just don't have faith for him long term. And that's not anything against the player. Again, top 10 talent, in my opinion. We're trading back with the Patriots. Bottom line, we're trading back with the Patriots because you're getting your guy at the cost of, like, nothing. And the Vikings have enough picks this draft. So we are going to be selecting, since the Bears are trying to move up, we're going to be taking a next year 4. Because, again, like, if we look at it, we only have 1 4 next year compared to, like, 7 4s this year. We're moving back, and then we are going to be selecting Mac Jones. And this pick, again, we just discussed it, Kwity Paye. Mac Jones to the Patriots is just, it's the formula that's worked for a very long time. Even Jimmy G worked pretty well. My comp for Mac Jones is pretty much like similar to Jimmy G. So it fits. It fits what they're looking for. I don't think the entire offense is built for Cam Newton, even though the offensive scheme is starting to be centered around a mobile quarterback. Again, you're just reverting 1 year. The entire offensive line is pretty much the exact same as it was with Tom Brady. So I think that Mac Jones still would fit with that offensive line. It's not like they've changed it for, like, a zone blocking scheme. Still have the same running backs. And then now you have more tight ends. So better weapons for Mac Jones to dump down to. I think that it would just be a perfect fit. Honestly, if we're talking about fits, there you go. Perfect fit. Especially with all the other guys off the board. Kellen Mond wouldn't be a good option for me later on if you can get Mac Jones here. 16 with the card. The question here is we're not going Devontae Smith. You know, that's something I'm deciding on. We're not going Devontae Smith. I know you guys don't want me to go. You guys do want me to go Devontae Smith. The question is, cornerback wise, who do we take in the next round? Tyson Campbell. Again, I think that the Niners are going to be selecting him ahead of us. Greg Newsome. He's going to be the day one impact. Caleb Farley is someone that we could take a reach on. I believe we do have us technically a cornerback 2 right now. And in the 3rd round, we could take another guy who could be a day one impact. I'm talking about a guy like a Robert Rochelle who has the potential to be both a man and a zone corner. Keith Taylor. You can talk about Marco Wilson could step in day 1 while Caleb Farley still heals. So I think Caleb Farley is worth taking a shot on. Again, he is the best talented corner in this class, and you're getting him at 16. He is going to fall quite a bit, but shoot, we could also trade back here. Because, again, the Bears would be looking for a guy like Devontae Smith. We could see teams try to move up for guys like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Elijah Vera Tucker. There's a lot of teams that probably do need Elijah Vera Tucker. We're going to take Caleb Farley here, though, just to have, because, again, we got Malcolm Butler there. It's not like we're losing our number 1 corner. This would be filling our number 2 corner spot, and Caleb Farley has the potential to be a true number 1. At number 17, again, that might have been a bad pick, but in the long run, it has the potential to be the best pick of the draft. This is going to be Teven Jenkins for me. Again, I think that should be the right move. We could see Barmore here. Again, you did release Maurice Hurst, though. That is a tough one. Because, again, if we let Teven Jenkins fall, then we're going to be seeing teams like the Bears be potentially in the mood for him, but Devontae Smith's there too. We can see a team right here in the Colts try to get a guy like Teven Jenkins. Doesn't really fit again. Right here as well. It's a tough one. It's a tough position to be in because, again, it's like, what do you do? I think this is a good trade back spot, though. Again, I think the Raiders need a trade back here. They got Damon Arnett last year. It's like I can't take Christian Barmore at this pick. I could see a team like the Bears trying to move up for Devontae Smith, though. Just because we're trying to get rid of Anthony Miller as it is. The Bears do need an actual, like, real weapon on the team, especially if Allen Robinson leaves. We're going to be moving up with the Bears. I think they're just pissy. They're going to try to make the most out of nothing, and they're going to be moving up. We're going to try to make it interesting, guys. So this shouldn't take much at all. This should maybe take a next year 4 to move up, because again, we did that for a 1-pick move up, but again, that was for a quarterback, and you're pretty much having a very little opportunity cost here. Obviously, we'll throw in something like maybe a 6th rounder this year just for funsies, but that is, I mean, whatever. It's not going to affect the Bears that much. The Bears are going to be moving up and taking Devontae Smith. That's something where they can take a shot. They're trying to win now. They might end up losing Devontae Smith for good from injuries, but his talent is so good. He has a top 10 talent in this class. I love Devontae Smith. At number 18, this is one where I've contemplated for a very long time. Do we move back anywhere? And it's a hard question to answer. I could see the Steelers trying to move up for a guy like Teven Jenkins, but that's not really going to be something that I could really do at this moment. And it's not something I would really target at this spot, given the fact that I think at 20, we could potentially move back again, because there's no team right in here that actually want a guy like Christian Barmore. So at number 18, this is something I contemplated for a while, but I think that there are teams like the Titans who probably are going to need a reset on their whole entire cap situation. Azeez Ojulari is here. And that's something to me that's a really, really big need. So Azeez Ojulari is going to be the pick. It's a weird one, but I think the NFL is going to be really high on him. He's super young, super explosive. I'm never usually taking him this high ever. But again, I think that the NFL is going to get really high on a dude who has extreme burst and he has tenacity. He played up against Stone Forsythe, got kind of buttoned up in the first half, but he kept fighting, and then he found his way. He started developing and adjusting to Stone Forsythe. And that is something that a franchise edge player will do. That's going to be a great pairing with Van Ginkel there, taking Van Noy's role. Thank you, Marcus Whitman, for telling me about why you would take Azeez Ojulari. But number 19, you guys already know what this pick is. You got JOK. I'm not going to describe it. He's going to be an excellent linebacker for you guys. Could play slot as well. Again, I think that he'd play perfect will linebacker. I know that one of you guys likes to go Nick Bolton in a second. I don't. I think he'd be a perfect will linebacker. You already have a Sam in Cole Holcomb, and then you have a Mike as well in John Bostic, who, again, not great, but John Bostic is definitely good enough. At this spot, again, I think that the Raiders, like, they don't take the logical pick. What I mean with that is that they could definitely take Teven Jenkins here, but the problem is we have tackles later on, like Spencer Brown, that would fit that right tackle spot perfectly. And you won't find that interior defensive line. Maybe Levi Onwuzurike, but I could see even a team like the Cowboys taking that. So I'm going to be trading with the Steelers here. We're going to have just a fun one. I don't trade up with the Steelers ever. And the Steelers are probably going to be looking for Najee Harris. But the Steelers need everything they can to win this year. And they probably will lose next year. That's the unfortunate fact. So again, we're going to be offering a next year 3 in hopes of garnering like maybe a next year 5, just so the Steelers can replenish that next year 5 for them. That kind of makes sense to me, because again, if you're trying to win now, that's what you do. Teven Jenkins is the only guy who can come close to what the Steelers are looking for weight-wise. He's around that 320 mark, and he plays like it. He fits perfectly on this team. And again, I think the Steelers could be moving up for Najee Harris later on, because the Steelers and the Bills are the only two teams that really, really fit this idea. The Falcons, before they brought in Mike Davis, yes. But at 21, this is an easy pick for me. Thank you to my boy, Levi. And he told me all about how the Colts never select a lineman that has under a 9 RAS score in the first 2 days. So Samuel Cosman had a 9.99. Number 2 before Spencer Brown. Number 3 all time. And that's perfect. You need a guy who can play left tackle, play the run and pass equally as well. And he is just a beast. He's going to be, I think that's a lock. I seriously think that's a lock. And there's no doubt in my mind about that. That's going to be a weird pick that people won't understand, but it's a lock. By the way, the Steelers had to move up above the Titans because the Titans would probably take Teven Jenkins. That's just my take. Number 22, the Titans. You could look at Greg Newsome here, 100%. And then you could look at trying to trade up for Elijah Moore later on. That's something I might do, given the fact that Greg Newsome is still on the board. And honestly, it's something that goes against what I was originally planning in my head. We're going Greg Newsome here. Again, wide receiver is bereft, but we do have a very good wide receiver class and corner class. But I think that Greg Newsome is the best man corner. He fits that Belichickian scheme. If you're not getting a guy like Tyson Campbell, you're probably going to be missing out later on. So Greg Newsome actually fits perfectly. He'll be that Adoree Jackson role that you guys just lost, and he'll be an excellent pairing on the outside. Again, you're in a division that might become more pass heavy. So you need that corner. And Greg Newsome has excellent hips. I love him. At number 23, this is Elijah Vera Tucker. I don't even care who else is on the board. Elijah Vera Tucker's the pick. You need to get that guard spot filled ASAP. So get that done. Again, the NFL is really high on him. I was thinking about even trading up for Elijah Vera Tucker here, but that's not the case. And we already know where I'm going at this spot. Christian Barmore is the pick. You have to go with him at this point. I know the Browns will be looking to select him as well. So Christian Barmore, to me, has to be that pick. You lost Maurice Hurst for no fucking reason. You guys cut him, actually, for no reason. You need to get that interior presence. You invested a lot in your defensive line, and your guys on the defensive line that you brought in, not the best. So you really need a guy who could be a day one impact, and a lot of people really like Christian Barmore, who has actually a really high 92.2 PFF grade in pass protection. Not pass protection, pass rush. So at number 25, to me, this is an easy one. You go Trevon Merrick here 10 out of 10 times. Easily the best safety by a mile in this class. So I like it. You rock it. Trevon Merrick. At this pick at 26, though, this is a fun one because I could see us trading back at this spot. Because, again, there's guys like Rashad Bateman on the board. There's Jalen Phillips on the board. But, again, we could take a guy like Jason Oweh here as well. That's something that I could see as a really big potential impact. But, honestly, I could see us trading out of this spot very easily. There's a team that could use a nice-ass linebacker. Again, we could go Zaven Collins here. But I know the Browns community, I look at them on Twitter, they do not want a linebacker at all. I don't understand why. But, you know what? We're going to take it anyway. Sorry, guys. We're going Zaven Collins. I don't think that Anthony Walker is a good enough reason to not take Zaven Collins. My number 15 player in the draft, he's a beast. Take him right there. Number 27, the Ravens are on the board. And I'm tired of y'all saying Dylan Raduns is a reach because all you're looking at is the number that TDN ranks him. And that is pretty lazy. Dylan Raduns is going to be playing right tackle. Yes, I said it right this time. He's going to be playing right tackle for you, replacing Orlando Brown. He's played with a mobile quarterback. Line is the biggest thing in the NFL that people forget about. And we were reminded of what happens when you have a pretty garbo offensive line in the Super Bowl. You take Dylan Raduns here. He's so used to already playing with a mobile quarterback, and he'll just be able to step in day one, play at a very high level. You need to take that. Dylan Raduns is going to be an excellent fit here from North Dakota State. At number 28, the Saints are on the board, and I could see a trade down here. I really can, because I'm seeing a team that really wants to move up to get a guy who would fit a wide 9 scheme very well. That's the Jets. Because, again, we missed out on corner, and then linebacker, I think we can move back and still select a very good one. So the Jets are going to be moving up with the Saints. The Jets have plenty of picks, and the Saints have plenty of needs. I think it fits. So we're going to be offering this third-round pick, and we're going to be possibly swapping these thirds. That is quite a surprise. So we can't even move back with that fourth. So that's very intriguing. I don't know if I want to do this trade anymore because I think the Saints are being kind of a pain in the ass in terms of trade value right now. We're going to offer this 4, and then we're going to offer a next year 4 as well, which technically is better value for the Saints, or next year 5. Technically better value for the Saints, but we need to get the perfect amount of dudes on the squad. So this spot, this is going to be the wide 9 master, Jason Oweh on the squad. Just unlimited potential. You get him for your boy Robert Saleh, and he fits perfectly. I love it. Pair him up with Lawson there. Whew, that's going to be dangerous. Very dangerous pairing. Number 29. This is an easy one for me. Rashad Bateman's still on the board. You take him. That's a simple fact. I was thinking about taking him right here for the Ravens, but again, offensive line to me is a huge need. There are guys like De'Ami Brown that we could take, and then later on, you could talk about Seth Williams. I think that people are underrating that idea, and you guys need to understand that you need to fix the offensive line first. So Dylan Raduns would be is the only guy who's used to playing in the type of scheme that the Ravens would run. And number 30, the Bills. I think we got to go corner here. Eric Stokes on the board. We could go linebacker as well. Interior defensive line no longer on the board, but I think corner, you just get that second corner, man. I think you do. Najee Harris is an interesting option, but I don't feel it. I think a Trey Sermon later on would be an excellent pairing. You could use him in RBBC and still use Zach Moss and still use Devin Singletary to a very high level. Eric Stokes to me is the best zone cover corner in the class, and it's kind of by a long shot. Asante Samuel Jr. is an excellent player for people who don't understand that the Bills run a cover two. So you go Eric Stokes. I like that. So next we got the Ravens here, and this is a good spot to trade back. I'm going to be honest. This is a good spot to trade back. I want to take Landon Dickerson, but I don't see any teams in here wanting to take Landon Dickerson apart from at pick 36. So given that, there are still guys like Jalen Phillips on the board. We could do a one-pick trade back. We're not going to do that. There are guys like Joe Tryon on the board, Elijah Moore on the board. So I could see a team trying to move up here for sure. Jamin Davis also on the board, but again, I'm not going to trade back into the first with the Saints because, again, they need picks badly. So this is an interesting one for me. You guys, we could go Terrace Marshall Jr. here, 100% as well, but that means I might want to trade back then because I don't think I want to take Terrace Marshall in the first. I really don't. We got to get edge as well. So Joe Tryon would be definitely an interesting option here. He could play that 3-4 outside linebacker that could pass rush, but he also can fit anything, man. Dude, Joe Tryon, he has the NFL hype too. I know you guys wouldn't like that pick, but we do probably want to move back and get some extra draft capital. I know you guys are talking about Bozeman potentially playing center, so I understand that. And we do have to get something for Lamar. Pass rush wise, I think Ronnie Perkins would be a good option, or if you want to go for a guy, Jordan Smith in the third. I think that, honestly, Jordan Smith fits what the Ravens are looking for. This is a tough one because I might just pull the trigger on Terrace Marshall here. But I can only see Terrace Marshall going at pick 38. So for me, it's like I might want to move back because Elijah Moore is a first-round pick for me. He is. We're going to see. Oh man, this is gonna bite. This is gonna kind of bite me in the ass in terms of the Titans. But we're gonna be moving up with the Jaguars. Jaguars are moving up with the Ravens. Very small trade, but we are going to be able to select the guy that we want. And that is going to be, we're going to send in a next year pick because I think that next year 5, again, you're moving back 2 spots. We're going to select the same dude. Come back tomorrow for that one. And you are going to be selecting Elijah Moore. Perfect fit. You need that slot weapon, and he's going to be excellent for Trevor Lawrence. And finally, at this pick, you're going to go Jalen Phillips. He is that dude. Go Jalen Phillips all the way. You're going to be winning now. Perfect replacement for JPP, or go in that Golston role. I love it. So let me know what you guys think. Check back tomorrow for round 2. I'll see y'all on the far side. Peace.